Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the lifestyle of one of the most notorious drug lords of our time, El Mencho. First, a little background on who El Mencho is. His real name is Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, and he is the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and violent criminal organizations in Mexico. He's been on the run from authorities for years and is considered one of the most wanted men in the world. But what's truly shocking about El Mencho isn't just the scale of his criminal enterprise, it's the complete madness of his lifestyle. For starters, let's talk about his wealth. El Mencho is said to have a net worth of over $10 billion. That's right, billion with a B. And he doesn't hesitate to flaunt his wealth. He's known for throwing lavish parties with champagne flowing like water and throwing stacks of cash around like it's nothing. But it's not just his wealth that's crazy, it's the way he spends it. For example, he's been known to buy entire fleets of luxury cars and helicopters just because he can. And when he's not using them, they're often left parked in fields to rot. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of El Mencho's lifestyle is the violence that surrounds it. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel is responsible for some of the most brutal acts of violence in Mexico's history, including mass killings, beheadings, and even throwing bodies out of airplanes. And El Mencho is said to be directly responsible for much of this violence. He's known for being ruthless and cruel, and doesn't hesitate to order the deaths of anyone who gets in his way. It's truly staggering to think about the amount of pain and suffering that one man can cause. And yet, despite all of this, there are still people who idolize El Mencho and see him as some sort of Robin Hood figure. They see his wealth and power and think that it's something to be admired. But make no mistake, El Mencho's lifestyle is complete madness. It's a twisted and dangerous way of living, built on the backs of the suffering of countless innocent people. And until he's brought to justice, it's a lifestyle that will continue to cause harm to people all around the world. But El Mencho's madness doesn't stop there. He is also known to use extreme tactics to maintain his power and control over his organization. For example, he has been known to use torture as a means of interrogation and punishment, with victims being hung upside down, submerged in water, and even electrocuted. In addition, he has been known to target and intimidate journalists and government officials who dare to speak out against him. This has led to a culture of fear and silence, making it even more difficult for authorities to bring him to justice. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of El Mencho's lifestyle is the way he has infiltrated and corrupted the Mexican government. He has been known to bribe officials at all levels, from local police to federal politicians. This has allowed him to operate with impunity and has made it nearly impossible for the government to effectively combat his criminal activities. And yet, despite all of this, El Mencho's power and influence continue to grow. His criminal empire now extends not just throughout Mexico, but also into the United States and other countries. He is responsible for the trafficking of billions of dollars worth of drugs, including meth, cocaine, and fentanyl. The consequences of El Mencho's lifestyle are truly staggering. The violence and corruption he has brought to Mexico has led to a humanitarian crisis, with thousands of people killed or displaced. And the drugs he traffics have caused immense harm to communities all around the world, tearing families apart and claiming countless lives. So what can be done to stop El Mencho and his criminal empire? It's a complex issue, and there is no easy solution. But one thing is certain, it's going to take a coordinated effort from law enforcement agencies around the world, as well as a commitment from the Mexican government to root out corruption and bring El Mencho and his associates to justice. It's important to note that El Mencho's rise to power is also a direct result of the Mexican government's failed war on drugs. The government's heavy-handed tactics and focus on taking out high-level leaders of drug cartels, rather than addressing the root causes of drug trafficking, has led to the fragmentation of these organizations and the rise of new, more violent groups like the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Additionally, the Mexican government's lack of investment in social programs and economic development in areas affected by drug trafficking has created a vacuum of poverty and lack of opportunities, making it easier for criminal organizations to recruit and retain members. In order to truly combat El Mencho and other criminal organizations like him, a holistic approach is needed. This includes addressing the socio-economic factors that make these groups attractive to people in the first place, as well as working with international partners to disrupt the flow of drugs and money across borders. It's also important to recognize that the issue of drug trafficking and organized crime is not just a Mexican problem, it's a global issue. The demand for drugs in the United States and other countries drives the drug trade and provides criminal organizations, like El Menchos, with the financial resources to operate. Therefore, it's essential that the international community work together to combat this problem. Furthermore, it's essential that the Mexican government prioritizes human rights and the rule of law in their efforts to combat El Mencho and other criminal organizations. This means that the government must ensure that the actions of law enforcement agencies are transparent and accountable, and that the rights of all citizens are protected. In conclusion, El Mencho's lifestyle is a representation of the destructive nature of organized crime and the failure of current strategies to combat it. It's essential that the government, international partners, and society as a whole take a comprehensive and human rights-based approach to addressing this problem. Thanks for watching. We hope this video gave you a deeper understanding of the complexity of the problem of organized crime and El Mencho's role in it. Stay tuned for more content on this and other important issues affecting our world today.